Oi, oi.
That's his signature.
When I close the videos, I always make like a. It was a sign to know that I finished the video.
That'd be sick. Like, I mean, it'd be awesome to have a Rampage qualifier.
I'm not sure if that shit is working.
What's the name of the company?
HA bicycles. Yeah.
Like HA or HA?
HA. Because then the name of the owner was Hernan Aristizábal. Yeah. So, guys, what's up? I think this is the first series of a series I'm gonna do for my channel that is called Cerveza o Café, like beer or coffee.
Okay.
You choose coffee today, but
Today.
anyway, if you don't know who's this guy, Cameron Singh, legend, big legend.
Thank you.
Right? Cameron, just first thing, tell us something about yourself for those people who don't know you. So.
My name's Cameron Zink, and I ride mountain bikes for a living. I'm a free rider. I started out as a racer, racing when I was 9 years old, and what I do now didn't really exist then. So around 15, 16, the free ride scene came on strong, and that was the beginning of me becoming a free rider, and I ended up quitting. Like, I raced World Cups for a few years, but then full-time free rider from 20 years old on. Now I'm 33, and yeah, loving it.
Where are you from?
From Reno, Nevada, in the U.S.
All right. Now you're talking about free ride, and you know that like free ride scene was really, really small. Who were you looking at when you started looking at free ride?
When I was coming up trying to be a free rider, I honestly wasn't looking at any of the free riders. I was looking. I always idolized the racers like Sean Palmer and Eric Carter and Kurt Voorhees, because I just knew that they had more skill than any of the current free riders, and I'm just like, I can be better than these guys. I was 14 years old and I'm better than these dudes. So I always just took my influence from snowboarding, motocross, freestyle moto, racing, you know, and surfing and skateboarding and BMX, and then just tried to cultivate the sport as we know it, because there wasn't really anyone pushing it. They were pushing kind of the idea of mountain biking, but they weren't really pushing what was possible on a bike.
Because I remember who were the guys in free riding that at the moment. Because I just wanted to ask you that, because about, you know, the, like maybe Darren or Robbie and Bender. Bender had like awful style and everything, but he had balls, big balls. I think he pushed the sport, like, I don't know, in a big way.
Yeah, Bender was, I think Matt Hoffman and Pastrana both said Bender's one of the gnarliest humans ever, greatest athletes or biggest, you know, progressions in any sport. But what really struck with me was Bender knew he wasn't the greatest bike rider, and the bikes that he rode were incredibly difficult to ride. So watching him, you know, occasionally land a massive cliff with you know, not the dimensions of the drop weren't right, the bike wasn't right, and he wasn't really, like, he just looked really stiff, you know, on every single one of them. Like, what could you do if you built it right and hit it with some speed and built a better landing and had, you know, more of a racer background? And that's what Dave Watson started doing. Him and Chandro and Ride to the Hills were the first to ride what then became the Rampage site, and hitting, you know, not 40-foot drops like Bender, you know, like the ones that he was doing at his peak, but they did the Canadian Bacon line, which is like a 20-foot drop in there, you know, and 30 like point to point, and they made it look smooth, you know, and that's what really drew me in. I started looking up to those guys and what they had done, and because they were both racers, and they brought in like a fresh skill level to the freeride scene, and it changed everything, especially for me. I mean, and then Claw came in from BMX, brought his BMX influence, first to do a 360 drop on a downhill bike, which was, I was immediately drawn to. Like, I thought that was so impressive, and that became one of my favorite things to do, still is, and one that I excel at, I guess. So.
Nice. So, what's your life today? You still racing? What are you doing? well, we're gonna talk about this thing you came to Colombia to do, but yeah, about racing and those stuff.
Right now I'm in a pretty good position because I'm able to kind of pick and choose what I want to do. You know, I've built up enough repertoire with my sponsors in the industry that the only event I really want to do is Rampage anymore. And then the occasional Crankworks, like I missed Rotorua because I had shoulder surgery a couple months ago. But I'll do Innsbruck and Whistler and then a race or two here and there just for fun, because it's what I grew up doing and I really enjoy it, and it's almost more fun with like zero pressure. My sponsors don't care if I race. I just want to go out and lay down a good race run. And it's good for your skill levels too, but I'm just trying to work on video projects, and I have a couple world records I'm trying to break this year and a couple film projects. I'm trying to do one down here as well in Medellín, and that's where I'm most drawn to now, because there's more freedom and I can do what, like, all the goals that I want, rather than having to go from contest to contest to contest. You know,
More fun and less pressure.
Yeah, and I get to be home with the family more because I have a bunch of land now. So a lot of the stuff I'm doing is at home, so I can stay home with the family and film and actually do work, and then and then also working on my company Census. We get grips and seats and expanding in other categories now, and now this new nonprofit we have for trail building is Census Rad Trails, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, nice. So this is the second time you come to Colombia, right? Third. So what were your thoughts about Colombia before you came? Because we have this fucking stigma about our past, and still some issues, but it's a pretty cool place. So what were your thoughts, what your family or friends told you, and what you found when you came here?
Yeah, I mean, compared to the U.S., there's still there's a little more poverty, but I mean the thing that sticks out the most to most people that are ill-informed is you know, the past with narcos and all that shit. Yeah, so it's incredible, and I mean even that show, it shows how even back then that the country wasn't down with it. It was like a juggernaut that took over. You know, it wasn't like everyone was welcome with open arms and the government was down with it and everything. It was a common misconception. So I think even that show is honestly good for it. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, the community, and the first thing you notice when you go to a race is how excited everyone is. People that in Manizales in the street races that aren't even really into mountain biking, but they're so excited just to watch something cool.
Yeah.
Like, if that happened in the streets of San Francisco, people would be excited, but people would just be like, yeah, cool. Like, you know, and not that many people would come out, and people are more alive here. Passionate and alive, and less self-conscious, and just more willing to scream and yell and just be happy and dance, and I love that, and I think that we could learn a lot from Colombia in that regard, and I mean, most Americans love just to have their head down and focus on work, you know, there's the people that are doing it right can work but then live, you know, and that's what I really like about Colombia.
Nice. So this third time you came for the trail building stuff. You see a potential here. Why is this city maybe so different about other cities you've been, or countries, or what is the special thing, and why do you want to do something here, and what is that thing you're gonna do?
It's one of my favorite places I've ever been. I just talked to Kyle Strait yesterday, and he said, oh, I love that place. Like, I told him I was just landed in Medellín. He's like, oh, I love that place. Like, people like it here. Like, we like visiting here. It's a treat to come here. But then after this meeting, we met with INDER, the sports organization for the municipality. There immediately after our meeting, we're just like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. And then now other people already contacted us in that last couple hours, you know, to try to build some steam and try to make these bike trails and this bike park happen, and help promote tourism from, you know, get Americans over here and get them to spend their money in the city, you know, just as a bike destination. So it's great to hang out. It's great culture, great food, and I mean, if you can mix in some bike trails that are marketed in the right way, because there's already have great bike trails, but like try to build some flow trails in the city, and it's I mean, I would definitely pay to come down here. You know, like cool. I love it.
Because if you don't know Medellin, because you're watching this and you're from outside, Europe, States, Australia, or whatever, this is a valley. We have a lot of trails. Those trails are like pretty natural. We have like natural berms and like 10 kilometers downhill straight away, and it's awesome. But we never work on trails.
Yeah.
Like I lived in New Zealand for 2 years. I lived in California for almost a year, and you see like trail building since maybe 20 years ago, and we haven't even started here. All we have is natural, so that's pretty cool. You guys want to support something like that here?
Yeah, and even with a traditional downhill trail where you're essentially just carving it in and adding a berm or two or a jump, it just erodes like crazy. So we're also trying to put on a clinic and help build the workforce here to where they can maintain the trails and know how to build their own trails with a proper water bar drainage or French drains and just creatively placing a roller to where the water redirects, but you can jump over it and just make it more sustainable. Even if it isn't really an above ground trail, even if it still is kind of just cut in, I think there's a lot of improvement that can make it more sustainable, and then make the cities and the states and the country be more involved and willing to promote it and fund it.
Nice. Man, I don't know what else to say, but welcome to the city. We love that guys like you and from overseas come here and love the place. Keep enjoying the place, and I think we'll see you more often here. Right?
You absolutely will. Things are going well so far.
And I hope we have the chance to ride together at some point. All right?
We're going to go ride tomorrow with these boys.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Right,
Thanks
cheers.
for coming. Ciao. Bye.